Good morning and a very warm welcome to the TriTrack Software Training Program team. So today is the second day of the demo session, and today we'll cover a few more topics in context to this training program, and also at the same time we'll also see the basic navigation of the Oracle Fusion application, that how to access the application, what are the basic navigations, or what are the key things that we need to do in order to start the configuration of the Oracle Fusion applications. So my name is Abhishek, and I'm the trainer of this training batch. And this training program has been developed to cover the Oracle Fusion Financials Cloud modules. And as mentioned yesterday, uh, no coding required means the training program is suitable both for technical and non-technical background students. So let's continue here. So a quick introduction again from my side. So my name is Abhishek Kumar. I'm an Oracle certified implementation specialist and overall experience of 12 plus years in the field of Oracle consulting. And during uh, these years or these years, I have worked in various end-to-end implementation projects where I have worked with various companies who are involved in Oracle implementation. So I have worked in implementation as well as support projects across multiple legislations. Like I have worked for US based clients, UK based clients, Middle East clients, Singapore, Australia clients, and even some other regions I have worked with. Now I have also delivered the corporate training programs. So basically, from the business side, there are corporate training programs which are conducted for the employees of the organization to get them trained on the Oracle Fusion Financials product to upskill themselves. So I have delivered those, and along with that, I have also delivered multiple training batches also. Now, during my career, I have worked with various organizations, including the Big Fours like Deloitte, EY, PwC, and I have also worked with Oracle as a part of the implementation team. Now, some quick do's and don'ts. So, some recommendations from our side. So, meeting is recorded from our side. So, we'll be sharing this recording with all the students. And during the meeting, we request you to keep yourself on mute so that we can cover the predefined agenda. And at the end of the session, we have dedicated slots for questions and answers. So any question and answers you can ask in the Q&A round, and as well as you can also type your questions in the chat if in between you have any queries, so that we can take the same at the end of the session. Now, along with that, our admin team is also in this session, so they'll be reaching you out in for any clarification purpose and also for the enrollment related purpose, right? So in the yesterday session, the Google Forms were already circulated, and in case of any query, feel free to chat in the Zoom chat, so they'll be able to upfront resolve your queries. Okay, team. So we'll quickly discuss today's agenda, what we are going to cover today. So we'll start with this training outcomes. So where I have prepared a small slide on what are the possible training outcomes, or what is the expected training outcomes. So once you're done with this training program, what sort of outcomes we can expect. So this will help you guys to understand that what should be expected after the completion of this training program, and especially for the fresher students who have joined. So it will be pretty helpful for them. And again, we'll be talking on the work profiles that you can expect. So here I have prepared one slide, which will help you to get a broader aspect that what kind of work profiles I can expect, and in which all organizations I can expect. I've also mentioned some of the implementations companies. So which all companies, which are big names, which are there in this field. So it will help you to understand how the platform works, what are the possible job scenarios, or where exactly we can look for the opportunities, and those kind of details we'll be discussing here. Now, once we are done with these basic details, we'll move to the Oracle Fusion UI, where we'll be logging to the application. We'll see the basic navigations, enabling offerings, like how to start with the application, what are the prerequisites to work on the application. So those things we'll study as a part of the agenda, which is mentioned here. So let's start here. So first, beginning with the training outcomes. So here I have prepared one small slide that what are the possible outcomes, and from the fresher perspective, where exactly you can look for that for the training outcomes. For the experienced ones who are attending the training, what exactly they can look for as a part of training. So first, we'll start with one of the key points, which is product knowledge. So the training program will is helpful for the freshers as well as experienced consultants to gain product knowledge. And when I say product knowledge, so I mean to say Oracle Fusion, and as a part of Oracle Fusion financials also, right? So from the financial side, we'll study different modules, how different modules can be configured, and how different modules can run in the system, how various business functionalities can be tested, what are the outcomes, how the accounting works, how the reporting works. So all those things we'll discuss in detail as a part of the product knowledge. And as well as we'll also study how Oracle Fusion application in overall works, right? What are the system related activities? What are the admin related activities? And how those activities can be managed. So it will help you to gain an understanding about the oral application, as well as it will help you to gain an understanding on the Oracle Fusion financial modules. Now, on the basis of that, how it will be helpful for me, it will be helpful in securing a job in Oracle domain. So when I say Oracle domain, I mean to say ERP domain. Within ERP, Oracle product, which is Oracle Fusion. So both for the freshers, especially it is helpful, and for the experience as they are already in job. But in case they want to switch their job and come into Oracle domain, or join any Oracle implementation companies, so in that point of time or in that context, this will be helpful. And the third point is upskill their product knowledge. So especially from the experience one's point of view. So if the consultants who have already working in some other platforms, or who have already working in Oracle platform, but in some other subject areas like supply chain or PeopleSoft, right? And now they want to upskill themselves in the field of Oracle Fusion financials. So particular training program will be helpful for them. Then enhance subject knowledge. So both for the freshers and experienced. Reason being, it's a very detailed training program. We'll be covering both the aspects, the configuration as well as the functional aspect, which is like testing various functionalities and processes. So it will help you to understand the product in detail, enhancing your subject knowledge. The next one is learn about end-to-end implementation cycle. So this is pretty important one. So the approach that we are going to use in this training program is, we have designed this training program in a way which works in case of actual business scenarios or actual product implementation, right? So the way the product is implemented for any business, in the same manner, the training will be continuing here, where we'll see various stages of implementation. We'll discuss what are the various stages, and what is delivered in various stages, or what kind of preparation should be done to achieve various stages as a part of end-to-end implementation of the product, right? And based on this only, it will be helpful for you, so that once you're done with the training, you will be in a position to directly be deployed in project, because whatever you'll be doing in a project, or whatever is expected out of a consultant, implementation consultant or support consultant in a project, the same steps or same stages we'll be covering here as a part of the training program. And the next one is preparation for certification. So as I mentioned, the current pattern of certification programs which are conducted by Oracle University is, it's a combination of practical based approach and theoretical based approach. So individually you have to clear both the aspects, like practical, it is somewhere around 40%, 40 to 50%, and remaining is the theoretical portion. And individually you have to pass both the aspects, right? So in practical based approach, an instance is provided along with some case scenarios, and you have to perform the configurations. You have to do the configurations accordingly, right? And same way we'll be doing in the training program also, where we'll be uh, doing the configuration in the live environment, which will help you to gain a detailed understanding about the configurations, as well as we'll also be discussing the topics from the theoretical side. So from both the aspects we'll be covering. So at the end, it will help you to prepare for the certifications exams offered by Oracle University. So I hope these outcomes are clear with to us, so that uh, we are pretty much clear that what we are going to gain as a part of this training program. Moving to next, which is roles. Now, in yesterday's session also, we have discussed these things, which is like just like what kind of roles we can expect as a part of the training. But here, I've given you a further classification, which is like in which all companies or what kind of companies I can expect these kind of roles, right? So here, the first thing is implementation consultant, means a role in which you'll be hired as an implementation consultant who will be responsible for implementing the product. Now, these kind of roles is available both with the or all these three type of companies, which is the vendor company, consulting company, and end user company. So basically, you'll see as a part of the implementation, three companies which are involved. One is vendor company. So who's the vendor company? Oracle is the vendor company who has developed the product and who sells the licenses of the product, or we call it as subscription in case of Fusion. So Oracle itself has an implementation branch, we can say, or implementation company is separated there, which is known as Oracle Consulting. So the company is involved in implementing products for various businesses, right? Along with the consulting companies. So various companies, big companies, small or medium-sized companies, they are in partnership with Oracle, who takes care of the implementation of Oracle product for various end user companies. Okay. So as a part of the implementation team, Oracle also hires consultants, consulting companies. Yes, for sure, they hire consultants for implementing products. And even you'll see some of the end user companies where they have their own in-house implementation team who is responsible for implementing various products and features, right? So product means Oracle Fusion, but various features of the product, various modules of the product, right? So they also have the this kind of positions available where in-house they have their implementation consultant. Same way with the role of support consultant. So vendor company also hires, which means Oracle also hires. Consulting company also has a separate supporting team. Even end user companies maintain their own in-house supporting team, where you can expect the job roles which are offered by various companies, including the end user company. Number three is the product testing consultant. So testing consultant is not very old profile. It's a very new profile or new addition, a new type of role. And nowadays it is offered by all three: vendor company, consulting company, and end user company. And the reason of hiring the product testing consultant is to make sure that whatever implementation is done, whatever new enhancement is done, so that gets thoroughly tested by the testing consultant. So in that case also, any user having a thorough knowledge of the configuration and the functional aspect can apply for the jobs in various in vendor companies, various consulting companies, and end user companies for the post of product testing consultant. And last and not the least, freelancing and contractual kind of roles. So especially after COVID, uh, a boom has been, or rise in demand has been observed here in the freelancing and contractual roles, considering the global reach of Oracle. So you'll see opportunities from overseas companies as a freelancing or contractor job role, right? Especially from the end user company, and even consulting companies nowadays hires on contractual basis, and even vendor companies, Oracle do hire consultant on a contractual basis for specific project assignments or specific business requirements. Right. Now, in all these companies where I have mentioned, so these are the roles where we can expect these companies to be present in terms of job opportunities. And one of the recommendation is you can go on LinkedIn, search for the role of Oracle Fusion Financial Consultant. You'll see a whole list of companies who are looking for into this role, right? So that will also help you to understand that where exactly I can fit in. Now, moving next, which are the organizations involved. So some examples, right? Right. So this is not the exclusive list, but this is just an example of various companies which are involved. So vendor company, of course, is the Oracle Corporation, product owned and developed by Oracle Corporation. Then partners or consulting companies who have some of the big names, mid-sized companies here, like Accenture, Cognizant, Deloitte, IBM, Infosys, PwC, TCS, Wipro. So a list of few is here, but apart from that, we have a lot of other companies who have partnered with Oracle for the purpose of uh, consulting, for the purpose of implementing Oracle for the other companies, which is like end user companies. Now, some of the examples of the end user companies who have already implemented Oracle or who are continuously using Oracle, upgrading themselves as per the latest upgrades and latest developments in the field of Oracle. So some of the names, renowned names are here, which are mentioned directly on the Oracle website. So if you see here, Bharti Airtel Limited is using Oracle Fusion. Then you have Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance Company using Fusion, SBI Card using Oracle Fusion. You have Uber, you have Zoom, FedEx, Mazda, Bosch. So some of the very renowned companies across the globe which are on Oracle platform, right? And apart from that, there are many other companies. So even if you try to go and search on the Oracle official website, you'll see a whole list of companies across the globe who has been using Oracle Fusion. So basically, these companies are part of the end user companies. Now consider the size of these companies and also the type of opportunities they can also offer. Okay, so with this, I'll move to the next topic, which is understanding the Oracle Fusion UI. Now, in this part of the session, we'll see how to navigate to the application, how to access the application, right? So let me share my screen, open a browser, and I'll share the screen here. So basically, how it starts with a URL. So let me just sign out and sign in again. So every Oracle instance means or every Oracle Fusion application is supported by a URL. Okay, so this is the URL which we need to enter. Let me just copy it for you and paste it somewhere. So this is known as URL. Okay, starting with HTTPS, ending with oraclecloud.com, and in between you have the details of the URL. Now each Oracle application will have a unique URL, right? And based on the URL, you'll be able to access that particular application. Now, what additionally you need apart from the URL, you need the credentials. So credentials means user ID and a password. Okay. Now, whenever an Oracle application is implemented, the first thing that is done is the admin user gets the URL detail along with the admin credentials from where? From the Oracle side. Now, the admin user, once it gets the admin related credentials, he or she will be able to access the application, able to create various other users, and then they'll in turn they'll provide or they'll share those credentials with the various users. Now, let's say you're a part of the implementation team. So the admin team, first thing will they'll be doing, they'll be creating users for you. They'll be giving you the user IDs and password, right? So here, let's say we have a user ID. Uh, so this is the user ID and along with the relevant password. Now, once you have these three details, what you need to do, just you need to make sure you have the internet connectivity so that it will be working on an online mode. And then you should be able to access that using the credentials, which is URL, ID, and password, right? And even if you see here, the application, you'll see even with the minimum bandwidth also, the application works fine. So it is not the case that we need very high speed internet to access the application. With minimum bandwidth also, the application works fine. Now, in order to sign, first I need to enter the URL. Once I enter the URL, so this is how the screen looks like. Let me just take you to the home screen here. This is how the screen looks like, which is sign in Oracle Application Cloud. You have the user ID, you have the password, and you have the option to sign in. So enter your user ID, enter your password, click on sign. Okay. Now let me just take you to the home page and then we'll come back here. Now this is how the home page looks like, where you have here the greetings and the name of the user. So the name of my user is this is Chris Willy, and then you have some of the icons which are appearing here. Okay. Now various icons which you can see on my landing page or home page, right? Home page means this icon of home page. So it will take me to the home page. So various icon represents various functionalities or various modules that I can access. Okay. So as of now, you see a lot of options which are available here. Now, will that be the case for every user, or will that be the case in each and every application? The answer is no. So there is something which we call it as security, right? In the application, we have security. Security means only the functionalities or the modules that a user is supposed to access, user is supposed to use, will be available to the user, right? Now, as this particular user is an admin user and this particular user is used for training purpose, so you'll see so many options which are available here. But maybe the case when you're accessing a new application, so by default, you'll be able to see some or only few of the options available here, right? And then based on what you want to use or what you're supposed to use, the access will be given here. So how to give the access or what is the navigation of giving the access? So that is something we'll check further. Now, first, let's see some of the basic tabs here, the basic navigations and all. So this is the landing page, right? So anytime you're on any page, this header level information will remain stagnant, right? You'll see this available everywhere. So in order to move to the home page or dashboard, you just need to click on home, and anywhere you're on the application, it will bring you to this home page screen. This view may be similar in some of the applications, but this can be personalized, this can be changed. So depending upon the needs of the organization, you can have a different theme here, different color options. So those are something which are manageable as a part of the personalization. Here on the top left, you'll see a logo of Oracle, right? This is the default logo, but it is also possible that it can be replaced with any other logo, especially the various business organizations who get Oracle implemented. So they like to replace it with their own logo. So that is also possible thing which can happen. Now, first, let's concentrate here on the extreme right, which is known as settings and actions. So click on this. So you'll see setting and actions, option to sign out from the application, and then you have various other options which are available here, right? Now, some of the options are applicable for now, some of the options applicable on a later stage. So let me just give you the basic one which are applicable for now. So first thing that you should be understanding, or anytime you are accessing the application for the first time, few things that you should be checking as a prerequisite. So first is this one about this application. So what this page does, it will give you the details of the application, which is the current version, what is the latest upgraded version, right? So something like that you'll see here. So Oracle Fusion Cloud Applications 24C 1113 Okay. So we'll have an understanding what exactly this information means, And then you have some other information that Oracle application development framework. So more on the technical side, the application framework details, the middleware details, the database details of the application. But as a functional consultant, we should be having understanding of these details like 24C, 11, 13, 2407, and 00. Okay, so let me copy this information and paste it somewhere here. Now, when I say that when you access the application for the first time, you need to check these details like what are these details and how it is going to help you to understand the application version. So here, I would like to give you a detail of the Oracle Fusion release history. So the product initially got released to open world in the year 2011. So that was the first release of official release of Oracle. So that is known as release one. And after that, every upgrade that came, uh, so that was denoted with release 2, 3, 4, 5, and like that. Right. Now, in 2013, so before 2013, starting from 2011, there were multiple releases which are done by Oracle, multiple upgrades which are done by Oracle in order to make the product more stable, right? Because initially, when the product is introduced, maybe a possibility there'll be some a few things which were missing out, and that has to be fixed out. Some bugs that has to be fixed out. So in 2017, so the release that was introduced by Oracle, so that was the most static release, right? So that was release 13, and it was known as the static release of the Oracle. And here, if you see this information, which is 11 and 13, so 11 represents the year in which the Oracle Fusion application was introduced to the open world, which is 2011, right? Row number 3. And 13 represent the release in which the product got static or the most stable version was introduced, which is release 13, row number 15. So these first two information will always be static. You'll see every release, you'll see 11.13, which is 2011 it was introduced. Release 13 was the static release on which Oracle Fusion application was deployed. Now, these two things are clear. Now, second thing we'll understand here the upgrade policy. So, what is the upgrade policy of this application? And first is like why we need the upgrades. So, if you see any application which is on cloud or any software also, so every software needs some upgrades. Upgrades for what? Upgrades for removing the existing bugs, upgrades for bringing up the new technology or to bringing up the new functionalities to be in line with the latest developments or latest technology available in the market, right? So that is a continuous process that happens with each and every application. So even if you see the application that you run in your mobile devices, right? So that also gets regularly upgraded, right? So upgraded versions are available. So same way, in case of Oracle, the policy of upgradation is quarterly upgrade policy. So each and every quarter, they'll be introducing a new upgrade. And the quarter they'll be using here is uh, Jan to December, means Jan to December is the calendar year they'll be using. And individual quarter is divided into four parts. So Jan to March denoted by A, April to June B, July to September C, and October to December as D. Now, if you see here in this, so 24C, so C denotes third quarter here, right? July to September, which means the current version of application got upgraded in the third quarter, which is July to September, and the fourth, which is applicable from October to December, still pending. So again, like in the current month or in the next month, when the new upgrade is released, which is the for quarter four, so this particular application will be updated from 24C to 24D. So as of now, the third quarter upgrade has already been done. So that's why you can see C here. Now, what this 24 means? 24 means year, right? So if you see here, so this will be 24A, 24B, 24C, and 24. Okay. So now third quarter is done, 24C. So here you have 24C. Now, based on this about this application, you'll be able to understand if it says 24C means year 2024, C means quarter 3 upgrade, 11 means 2011 in which the application got deployed, 13 means the static release, right? And then again 24, 24 again denotes the year. Point zero seven, zero seven means the month in which it got upgraded. So zero 07 means July, right? And dot zero means the first upgrade. So normally what happens is one quarterly upgrade every quarter, right? So denoted by dot zero. But in any exceptional cases where more than one upgrades are there, then it will be like instead of dot zero, it will be replaced by dot one, dot two, dot three, and all, right? But normally you'll find dot zero uh, because only one upgrades is applicable in a particular. Now, I hope based on this information, now you are pretty clear that how to rate the version of the application and why it is mandatory or not mandatory, why it is recommended, I'll say. Because what happens is normally when you get a new application itself, right? So for the first thing before starting the configuration that you will be doing is to check for the application that in which release it is, what is the current version and all. So based on this information, you can have an understanding whether an upgrade is due or not. Correct. So sometimes what happens is the upgrade is due, then maybe the case that you'll start doing your configuration after the upgrade is done. Right. So in order to check that only, we need to understand what is the current version, what is the current quarter upgrade, and if there is any upgrade which is already due, and if the answer is yes, it is due, then it can also be decided to move the configuration once the upgrade is done. So basic information. Now moving to the next part here, which is applicable, is set preferences. So if I click on here, set preferences, here there are multiple options, right? So we'll see the ones which are applicable here. So go to regional. So this one is pretty important. Now by default, what happens is when you see this information under regional under set preferences, right? Whenever you get your user credential, so the first thing we'll be doing here, you'll see the territory will be fixed as US. The date format will be as per the US standards. The time format will be as per the US standards. Number format as per the US standards. Current currency will be as per the US standards. Time zone will be as per the US time zone. Okay, because the application was developed in US. Now, depending upon the region in which you are working, you need to fix these parameters here, right? It's a one-time thing that you need to do so that whatever changes you make it here based on the same, the preferences will be updated and you'll be able to see the information in that format. So for example, territory. If you mark the territory that I'm working in India, you can mark it India. If you're working in any project in any other regions, right? Let's say you're working in KSA, then it should be KSA. If you're working in US, you it should be US. If you're working in UK, it should be UK. And next followed by the date format. Date format means how you would like to see the date format for your instance or for your application. Whether you would like to see in this format DMYY, or we have many other date formats which are available. Okay, so the best suited format you can choose it from here. Normally, what happens is when you're implementing the product for a particular company, a particular business, and that's how we will be doing. So we take this confirmation that what kind of format business prefer, right? So that each and every user can have the same date format or they can use the same date format, right? Although whatever format changes you make it here will be visible to your user account only, but many times company prefer that our date format is this one, MMDDYYYY or MMDDYY. So according to that, this can be fixed here. Same with the time format also, 24 hours format, 12-hour format, right? So multiple options are available here. So as per the preference of the business, as per the preference of the user, this can be fixed here. Then followed by number format, right? So how number format should be visible. So comma below a comma on the top, right? So like that. So different regions follow different number format. right? So if you see in some of the regions, instead of comma, they follow a dot and the decimal is represented by a comma. So that is also one of the acceptable format. So here, system gives you a list of values that how your number format should look like. And where this is important, this number format. So whenever you're performing any transactions, you're doing any transaction. So based on these number formats only, the amounts will be visible, right? Now here, next thing is currency. So which is the default currency for this particular user account, right? So if I say INR, means the default currency is INR. That doesn't mean that my books of accounts or my accounting will be done in INR. This is just a user preference, which means that if I set my currency as INR, so any notifications that I'll be having within or I'll be getting within the application will be automatically converted into the INR along with the currency in which the notification has been sent. For example, so let's say there is a transaction which has been done in USD and now it is coming for my approval. So as the currency here has been set up to INR for my preference, which means I want to see the transaction in INR. So system will give the notification in which the transaction will be reflected in the USD. Along with it will also give me the INR value, right? So what should exactly come here? Basically the functional currency or the currency in which your uh, books of accounts are maintained, that should be coming here. Should not be case that I'm working in India, should be 9 or I'm working in US in USD. No, depending upon in which currency my accounts are maintained, based on that, I can fix the currency here, right? And finally the time zone. So in whichever time zone I'm working, if I'm working as per the here, let's say I'm sitting in India, I'm working as per the US time zone, then I can select the US time zone here. So I can coordinate with the all the business processes and the time zones that is going to be reflected and mentioned in the various transactions will be here as will be as per the time zone just mentioned here, right? So this has to be in line with the business requirement where the product has been implemented. Now, as these are general preferences, so always the recommendation is to set it right upfront in advance, as and when you start using the application. So let me just save and close this one. Then I have this option, which is password. So within the application, what happens is whenever your user is created, new user account is created, automatically system triggers an email on your official email ID, because when your user ID account is created, there you have an option to enter the email ID, and system will trigger an email sharing the details of the login credentials for the user account. Correct. But let's say after some time you want to change the password, so you'll be entering here the current password and the new password so that your password can be reset. But that reset option is very well available in the application directly. Now, these are some of the basic, right? Then there are other settings and other options, which as and when applicable, we'll see later on. So some of the prerequisite that you need to do, you need to go with set preferences. You need to check with the application about this application for the current application version. And then I can move back to the home page. So hope based on this information and based on the upgrade policy and Oracle release history, now you should be able to identify that if the information mentioned here something like this, then how to decode this information, how to break down this information based on years, current release, and other relevant details. Now let me come back here and give you a glance at how a user account is created. Normally, this task is done by the admin user, but at the same time, as a functional consultant, we should also be knowing some of the admin related activities so that anytime if this kind of requirement comes up, then we should be able to uh, cater those requirements. So here, now what is this thing called? So this is called navigator. Okay. So navigator is a representation of the same icons which are visible here, but in a list format, right? So if you see here, so let me highlight some of the things here. So let's say, for example, I'll move to the right hand side. So you have this intercompany, budgetary, cash management, fixed asset, right? For example. Now, same way, you have these options listed here also. But here the option is it is available as a list, and here from left to right you have to navigate in order to use these options, right? Otherwise, things on navigator, things on the dashboards are same. Whatever options you have available here, same options you are will be able to see here also. Now there is something called tools, right? On the tools, various so many options, right? Need not to worry about these options because as an admin user, I have all the options or access to all the options, irrespective whether it should be it is useful for me or not useful. But whatever options which are useful here, so I'll be highlighting those. I'll be discussing those with you guys so that you'll be able to understand which options are applicable and where these are applicable, right? So as of now, I would like to highlight here tools, and under tools, we have something called security console. Now, whether every user will be having the access of the security console or only the admin user. So as this particular security console is used for creating new user accounts, right? So ideally, each and every user should not be able to create new user account. It should only be restricted with the admin user or the person whose responsibility is to create users. Okay, but let me give you the details here how it works. So here we have something called user, right? And let's say I'm the admin user here. I have the initial credentials of the Oracle, and now I want to add more user accounts so that those user accounts can be used for doing the configuration. Okay, so here under user, you have this option called add user account. So click on that, and then you have various information, set of information that you need to enter. So here on the right hand side, I'll enter the details like first name, last name. So let me enter here some details. Okay, so I'm just entering some random names so that specific with October 24 as the prefix so that I can later also check this user account. Now, what need to make we need to make sure. So first name, last name basically is the name of the user, right? So Abhishek Kumar, if my name is Abhishek Kumar here, then it should be Abhishek dot Kumar here. Display name, how we want to display the details here, email ID, right? So okay, let's say this is my email ID. Phone number additionally if you want to mention, and then a username, right? Now if you see this username, so what is this username means? Username means the login credentials which will be entered while uh, entering the or while signing into the application. Now if you see here, what system has done, system has taken first name dot last name as the username. So this is the default configuration. But apart from this, if you want to change it to something else also, let's say I want my email ID to be user ID, so I can override this to the same, right? So let's say, for example, I want this email ID to be my username. So this is also doable. So in many of the organizations, you'll see the login credentials, the username is the email ID, and in some of the organization, you'll see the uh, username is first name dot last name. So both options are available here. So let's say opt24.finuser is the username. Then you have the password. So you can enter the password from your side. Okay. Now, once you're done with this, right, this basic information, so you're pretty much done with the user account creation, right? So I can just save and close this particular user account here, and system will allow me to do so. So just save this password. This is a browser thing, right? Nothing to do with the application. So now, if I want to search back my user, so now this user account has been created, right? So this is the first thing that any admin user will be doing in order to create a new user account, right? So hope this is clear. Now, if I have this user account, right? So let's also try to uh, sign in this user account. Let me check the details here. Okay. Now, if you see the user account has been created and I'm able to sign in. If I try to find out the details here, right? So some of the options I have available, but if I compare it with the one that my user account has, these options are very limited. Okay. And as of now, what do you see? The basic options are available, not the major options, right? This invoice testing, these things. Specific module related access like finance modules and those things are not done. Now, what does it mean? So, as I mentioned, that there is something called security in the application, which means that if a user account is created, so by default, the user account will be having access to only the basic task. The user will not be able to use any business functionalities, right? So when I say any business functionalities, I mean to say, let's say a user want to use finance related modules, then he'll not be able to use unless until the security layer is there, right? So what does this security layer means? Rules. The name which is denoted here is rules. So all the access in Oracle Fusion application is subject to roles, right? So if you have the roles available or roles assigned to the user, then user will be able to uh, access the functionality, able to perform the various functional business functions. But if the user doesn't have the roles, then the user will not be able to do so. So that makes it mandatory that once the user account is created, appropriate role should be assigned to the users so that user will be able to access the particular functionalities. Now here, I'll just give an example here. So we have various modules, right? Finance related modules. So general ledger, we have accounts payable, we have accounts receivable, we have fixed assets, we have cash management. Okay. Now, if user want to use any of these modules, whether user should be having roles, the answer is yes. For using any of these modules, there are various roles which are provided in the system, and the access of to those roles should be there in order to use these functionalities. Now, let me go back to my presentation here. So this one. So the security is role-based security model, which means Oracle Fusion application use a role-based access control security model. Users are assigned roles through which they can gain access to various functions and data within the application, right? All the users' roles are active concurrently, which means that the user roles are already present in the system, they're active. Just you need to do is assign it to the users. Users who do not have the access of the selected role when they sign in, right? Which means anytime a user account is created, they do not have by default any access. They have to be assigned access to various roles based on the requirement, based on the access that they should be having. Now, this is where the catch is. Now, catch means this is where we need to take care of. Now, when I say user should be having rules, now does it mean that if any user is a finance user, they should be having rules of all the financial modules? The answer is no. They should not be having rules of all the financial models unless and until they are in a like management side, they want access of all the money, right? Otherwise, what happens is at the business level, you have different users for GL. So let's say user A is responsible for GL, and you have user B responsible for this. Same way, you have multiple other users, C, D, and E, right? Then accordingly, you should be giving the roles of the specific module. Now, let's say user A along with this also responsible for these two modules. So additionally, along with GL, user A should be assigned with a role of accounts payable. User A should be assigned with a role of cash management, right? Then based on this, what happens is user A will be able to use GL, A will be able to use AP, accounts payable, user A will be able to use cash management. Whereas user B only accounts payable, user C only accounts receivable, user D only fixed asset. That's how the role assignment is being done. Now, additionally, Additionally, now this is for the understanding purpose, right? The Oracle subscription, right? So when you subscribe from Oracle Fusion or when you take licenses of Oracle Fusion, so those licenses are also given based on the different modules that you'll be using. Okay. Now let's say, for example, here I have done a subscription, or let me mark it here, or user licenses. So let's say for GL, I have taken license for 10 users. For AP, I have taken user license for 5 users. AR, I have taken for 5 users, and A for cash management, I have taken licenses for 2 users. Right. Now, when you assign these roles to various users, so that means that individual license has been consumed. Right. So in case here, cash management, if you have taken licenses for 2 users, which means that now for 2 users, if the cash management role has been assigned, that means now your license is consumed, right? So anytime if you want to add a third user, then that should be subject to licensing. Subject to licensing means that whether there'll be any restriction from the system side, no system will allow you to add third user also. So here, let's say if you want to assign user C for cache management rule. So it is doable, right? But however, it is going to violate the user licenses. And that is where the business or the admin team takes care that whatever the licenses that we have taken, the user roles has been assigned that will be. Now, normally it doesn't comes on the plate of the implementation user because implementation user will be having the access, right? They'll not be managing these user roles and all, right? It is done by the admin team only. They just need to concern about their users and the required roles. But this is also a valid consideration from the admin perspective, from the application perspective, right? So anytime if these kind of things happen, so first what they need to do, they need to increase the user licenses. Increase means they have to subscribe for more, and then accordingly this becomes a valid scenario, right? So very basic practice this happens. And what I'm trying to say here, this is how these things are managed, right? Now whether you'll be using it in the implementation or not, separate thing, but it is something related to the admin related activity, and you should be having an understanding how the licensing part works, how the roles part works, how the assignment part works, right? So hope this presentation is clear. You understood the concept here, and the concept is simple, that role based security is there. If you have just user ID and password, that is not enough. After having the user ID and password, you should also be having the roles assigned to your user, roles related to various modules, and based on that only you'll be able to access the application, right? So hope this overall picture is clear. Now in the upcoming sessions, what we'll do, we'll move in detail, right? So when I say GL role, right, does it mean only one role, or there are multiple general ledger roles, multiple accounts payable roles, multiple accounts receivable roles, fixed asset? So multiple roles are there. What roles does what? Those things we'll discuss in detail. Is there's any additional consideration that has to be taken care? So those things also we'll be covering in the upcoming sessions. So for now, if you see here, we have created a user, and role assignment is something that is some which is pending. So here, if you see, there is no role as such that has been assigned. If I click on edit, so here I have an option to add roles. But as of now, as we are not aware what are the key roles that has to be added, or key roles that has to be uh, added here, or that has to be assigned to the user. So we'll keep it on hold till the time we have an understanding of various types of roles which are available in the system, right? But the preliminary activities has been taken care of, which is how to access the application, how to set the preference, how to check about the application version, how to create a user in itself, right? Any new user, and what are the details that has to be considered while defining the user. So those preliminary activities are now done. And now going forward, we'll be talking about the configuration, and how to start for the configuration, what are the prerequisites for starting the configuration, what are the roles that is required in order to start the configuration. So that is something we'll be discussing as a part of the regular classes. Now, these details on roles also we'll be discussing in the upcoming classes, where we'll see various roles, the list of roles, how it works and all. And then we'll continue with this one, which is enterprise structure. So this is more from the general ledger uh, training a purpose module, configuration purpose side. So what is an enterprise structure, how it works, and all. So all those details we'll be discussing as a part of the regular session. Now, let me go back here. Again, I'll share the details of the course features here, team. And as some of you have not completed the enrollments yet, so request is to complete the enrollment as soon as possible, because going tomorrow is the last day of the demo session. From tomorrow, our regular classes will be starting. So our admin team will be sharing a separate link of the Zoom meeting to attend the regular classes. So that will be shared with all the students who have confirmed their enrollment. So from our side, please complete your enrollments if not done already. And also one update from the admin team that your early bird offer is also valid for today. So uh, feel free to complete your enrollments and to avail this offer. So from tomorrow, this offer will not be available, and the regular online training course fees will be applicable. So if you have not already completed the enrollment, please go ahead, complete the enrollment. And based on enrollments only, you will be given access to the official portal of Track Training, where all the recordings, all the documentations related to trainings will be uploaded. So if you have not done, please complete it ASAP. And any queries related to the training program or any queries related to this course, feel free to reach out so we can resolve the query, we can address the query on a timely manner. So let me take a pause here and let's quickly go through the questions if there are any.
So Abhishek, like generally, what type of tasks we get?
So task, you mean to say assignments?
Yeah, assignments.
Yeah. So the model, the approach that we're going to use here for the training is we'll be doing like a real time implementation in the application. Okay. That means we'll be implementing an end-to-end project. At the same time, the expectation is whatever task we cover in the classes or whatever stages that we complete in the classes, same way we also assign to the students where they should be doing an end-to-end implementation in the application, right? And if they are stuck anywhere, so that is where we'll be providing you guidance, we'll be providing you support, and the end result should be like whatever we have implemented or whatever project implementation that we have done, all the finance models and all. So at the same time, you should also be able to do that from your side. So that is how the assignment thing works.
Okay. So in general, the user creation part will be done by the admin.
Correct. What happens here is from our side, an admin user will be creating user account for you guys, and the credentials will be shared, so you can use the same for the practice.
I mean, in real time scenario, when we are working in a
Hmm.
company,
Right.
so in that case, like,
It is done by admin, right? And you will be provided with the user accounts, and then you need to mention what roles you need in order to start the configuration. So admin user will assign those, and based on that you can start the configuration. But sometimes what happen is uh, in certain cases, the admin user can give you the access. Okay, whatever roles you want, you assign yourself, or if you want to create new user, do it from your side, right? So for example, specifically in organizations where the concept is like you have a whole team of financial consultants, right? It's not like one consultant concept. So you have a financial consultants team, and you have a team lead, right? Now let's say you are a team lead, correct? So admin user will create the user account for you, and in turn it will ask, okay, now you create all the user accounts for your team, correct? So that is where you should be knowing how to create the user account, how to give the access of various roles, right?
okay,
Very useful thing and very simple thing, right? If you do it once or twice, you'll be able to understand that way.
okay. And the configuration part we get from the end user.
Configuration part you get from the end user. So what configuration needs to be done task-wise, that is something consultant should know. But the information or the data is something that the end user will get, right? But in that case also, we follow something called implementation methodology, where in the first stage of the project, we explain to them like what kind of configuration information we require. Correct. So there we follow different uh, approaches where we either demonstrate the application to them, we make them understand, okay, these are the information that we need, or we give them some kind of questionnaire that, okay, these are the set of information that we'll be requiring, and kind of like a discussion that happens between the implementation team and the business. And based on common discussion, a set of details is prepared, like what are the data that will be used for configuration, right?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
So in our case, what happens like once we start the training, right? So every point of time where I'll be saying that this is something that we'll be configuring, but this information should come from the business. So by that way, you'll be understanding, okay, what sort of information we need to discuss, or what sort of information we should be expecting from the business side, or where business needs to take decision, right? So those areas will be highlighting specifically.
Okay. And one more thing is like only this financial module is enough, or apart from that, we need any other additional module to get the job.
So what happens is, if you see the working structure of various organizations, right? So there are different subject areas. You have financials at one place, then you have supply chains, you have human resources, right? All these are different teams, right? So financial consultants are someone who are trained and who are experts in financial area, right? The supply chain consultants are someone who are expert in supply chain, right? So these are different tracks. And when you see the job opportunities, it will not be like, we want consultant who's an expert in supply chain and financial. So not the case like this. It will be like, okay, we want financial consultant who knows how to do the configuration, who knows how to uh, do all the functionalities and all, right? So that's way it is. But within financials also, apart from the core modules, there are other modules, which is called advanced modules, right? So what I was saying, yes, so based on different tracks, the opportunities are available, and especially from the finance module point of view. So you have the core modules, and then you have the advanced modules. So if you are well trained in the core modules, then the next stage will be where you can learn the advanced modules also.
Okay.
All right. So do we have any more questions here, or let me also look into the chat? No. Okay. So for tomorrow, if you have already done with the enrollment part, then please ask for the meeting link with the admin team. So they'll be sharing with the tomorrow's meeting link. And from tomorrow, the regular sessions will be started, and we'll start with the general ledger module from tomorrow, and we'll be going from there, right? So it will be a detailed concept. So request is be regular in the classes. So it will be like 7 to 8 in the morning, be regular Monday to Friday, and also try to do the assignments from your side, and our admin team will be sharing those credentials and all, right? All right, team. If there are no more questions here, so I think we are good from my side. All right. Thank you. Thank you for joining session, and let's connect back tomorrow. Have a great day.